is Ghana Tonight. We're live from our news about Desawe Kanda. Also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, the cost of winning a presidential election in Ghana has been pegged at $200 million. Well, that's according to a CZD Ghana report. This assessment, according to experts, limits the pool leaders really can be put in to pick for the country. We'll delve into this and why this is increasing cost of doing politics, or as it were, contesting to be president, really is of concern, and how that really impacts on our democracy. Stay with us. The Auditor General has recovered, according to him, some almost over 10 million cedis in unearned salaries from government officials. We're talking about, people who are taking salaries from the state for no work done. Well, so stay with us. We'll have a conversation on this matter here on Ghana Tonight. Also, the Ghana Gold Board and the police service have launched a manhunt for 4 individuals cited for gold smuggling activities in the country. A 1 million bounty has been placed on the heads of these suspects who are currently at large. Stay with us. We have a conversation on this on Ghana Tonight. You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. As always, the hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Well, let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has expressed concern over what the rising trend of ethical decay in society, calling for a national effort to deal with corruption in the next 5 years. He is troubled by frequent reports of examination malpractice by students who continue to exhibit unethical behaviors across institutions. Julius Deborah on Tuesday launched stakeholder engagements for the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan.
Ghana is open for business, and we are actively seeking strategic investment to energize our local economy. But let us be honest, corruption is the greatest threat to this ambition. We must confront this reality. If we fail to protect our resources, we will never have enough to build the schools, hospitals, and roads our people deserve. We will never create the decent jobs for our youth.
President John Mahama has set a 24-month strict compliance deadline for the completion of the flagship Big Push agenda in the Volta and Greater Accra regions, cutting the sword for the redevelopment of the Atimpoku, Isikuma, Ho, Denu and the Dowenya Afienya Dodowa Road project. The president has announced the allocation of 30 billion cedis next year in addition to the already 14 billion released for the Big Push agenda.
All these roads that are starting, the money is sitting in the account and waiting to pay them. I was talking with the minister, and he's allocating 30 billion cedis to the Big Push. So contractors, have no fear, go full steam ahead. So let me apologize to Ghanaians. From the launch of this Big Push here, the whole of Ghana is going to become a construction site.
1 million cedis bounty has been placed on each of 4 individuals suspected of gold smuggling and illegal gold trading in the country. The Ghana Gold Board and Police Service are conducting a nationwide manhunt for these suspects. According to Gold Board CEO Sami Jemfi, the gold seized from the suspects amount to 10 million cedis.
Entity called NK Benak Enterprise and its sole proprietor Bernard Nkrumah have been closed down by the Gold Board. All these persons have mentioned the 3 suspects already in custody, and the 4 persons at large have all been charged for dealing in gold without authorization, for facilitating gold smuggling, for smuggling gold, for transporting gold without authorization, and for attempting to smuggle gold.
The National Identification Authority has still disconnected the Ghana Revenue Authority from its institution verification service platform for failing to pay in excess of 370 million cedis owed. The NIA has complained that the unpaid arrears is undermining the financial sustainability of the projects. The platform offers GRA the opportunity to verify in real time biometric details of its customers. Wisdom Kweku Deku, Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority, had this to say.
We continue to register Ghanaians onto the National Register and issue them with Ghana cards with plans to extend registration services to Ghanaians in places of detention. Resume the registration of children aged 0 to 5, and 6 to 14.
Ghana is making progress in reducing post-harvest losses. That's according to the Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness, Dr. Peter Boama Otokuno. He says strategic interventions by the government are beginning to yield results, and he's confident the issue will be minimized significantly in the coming years.
We are also looking at mobile processors in areas of the production of these perishable goods, so that these mini processors would process the excess tomatoes that are produced into purees and be able to store them over a long period of time.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. And coming up next, the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, that's CED, that's coming up next year on Ghana Tonight. Now, they have disclosed that the cost of winning a presidential election in Ghana has risen to about $200 million. Now, this is sparking some concern about the sustainability and inclusiveness of the country's democracy or the democratic process, and how that also impacts on us, our democracy as a country. How does this really expose this democracy we are practicing to fraudulent businessmen and persons who are involved in nefarious activities seeking to finance political party activities in this country? Well, this is not the first time the CDD has done this. In fact, the last time they put out the report, they pegged the report, that is when it comes to the cost of contesting for presidency, at just a little over 100 million. Right? But the cost is increasing over time. That's where the concern is. At the time, just some 3 years ago, they had indicated that some illegal miners, galamsey operators, persons involved in nefarious activities have all been identified as political party financiers. They say in this latest report that the cost of political party campaigns is on the rise. In fact, the recent study by the CDD shows that it costs approximately $100 million, and that's $100 million and 693,000 cedis to effectively, the emphasis is also effectively fund presidential and parliamentary campaigns. So 100 million, and that's for the presidential, and then $693,000. And this is just a conservative figure. It actually could be more. This is what they have found, and we've spoken to some politicians who say that, look, this is conservative. Really, it could be more than what we're talking about now. And now this, based on what they put out now, has doubled to $200 million. And it's affecting the governance of the country, leading to overruns of budgets during an election year, political entrepreneurs who are holding politicians to ransom to award dubious contracts, because really, there's no Father Christmas out there. When they put in their money as businessmen, they would expect some returns as well from whatever investment that they have made. And the promises that are given to them by these politicians. So what happens next? They talk about, and this is the question that the CDD is asking, that are the revelations from the NPP flag bearer race worth reflecting on, or it's politicking as usual? This is the CDD. They asked this question as part of this research. They use the flag bearer race of the NPP ahead of the 2024 elections as a reference point to some of the revelations they captured in this report. They say, is it really worth reflecting, or is just politics as usual? That's the question that they asked. And this is why they asked this question, right? They reference a number of comments made by some of the aspirants. There were claims of incidents of vote buying in the lead up to the presidential primaries. Kenneth Japon's camp alleged that Dr. Bamia's camp has given some 100,000 cedis, alleged, to party chairman. Kenneth Japon, during his campaign in Sagnerugu, ahead of that, that's the primaries that elected Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, also publicly made the allegation of vote buying. And when the constituency chairman denied the allegation, he showed a video to the delegates to buttress his argument. So it's on the basis of this that, and together with the rising cost of politics, as it were, and the presidential campaigns in this country, that they ask fundamental questions of how exposed is our democracy to the impact and the effects of monetization of our politics. Now, let's go on to Zoom now. Dr. John Osai-Kwapong is a fellow for democracy and development at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD. They are the authors of this report that I've been talking about. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Doc, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. I mean, this picture that we've just shown, that there's the cost of contesting for president of the Republic of Ghana is increasing. The figure you put there, $200 million, some politicians who are in the game say, well, this is conservative. It actually could be more. How troubling is this?
Thank you very much. I think it's also very important to quickly put in context that this is a study that was actually done 4 years ago in 2021. But having said that, it is a troubling development for politics. I often argued that we all recognize that it costs money to run a political party, to build all of that infrastructure that you need to be able to successfully manage a political party at the national level. It does cost money to run for office, right? To travel all the constituencies campaigning for votes. So there's that recognition that definitely every candidate would need some amount of financial resources to be able to contest for office. The troubling part is the cost of running for that office and what that says about our democracy. If you are not careful, you reduce democracy and democratic politics to democracy goes to the highest bidder, right? So that the person with the deep pockets, who may not necessarily be the person with the best ideas, with the best motivations, with the right reasons for wanting to run for office, gets to be the one who ends up winning, being elected. And that also has implications for governance. The other troubling part is that our campaign finance legal framework is also not the strongest in terms of monitoring, reporting, and how transparent it is. So you don't even know who is giving what to who and how much and what they want in return. So again, if you are not careful, you go down the slippery slope of, even if it's not the candidate spending their own resources, you would have to ask yourself, where is all of that money coming from? And those who are giving the candidate that kind of money to contest for an office, what do they want in return?
And that's where the concern is. And then for me, sorry, I think we lost you, Dave. If you can hear me, yes. But you make the point about what these persons will want in return. And over the years, you at CDD, you referenced this 4-year report and then what is being put out now. The fact that 4 years ago, you put out a figure of over 100 million. Now we're talking about $200 million and over for just to be president. You have made a case for state financing of political parties, which is a conversation that keeps evolving in many ways. We have a case of the NPP, a leading member, former member of parliament, a private legal practitioner, Samuel Atacha, making a case for some, the party says they need money, 4 million cedis for development fees from all the, that's the flag bearer hopefuls to come up with. He indicates that a candidate unable to raise that isn't really worth the assault or worth leading a party like the NPP as well. So you juxtapose the need for money for development and the risk of that phenomenon monetization of the politics as well. Where do we find the balance?
Respectfully, I disagree. I don't think that a candidate's inability to cough up 4 million Ghana cedis in the development fee in order to be able to contest in a presidential primary is the basis for evaluating whether they are worth the assault or not. Yes, political parties also do count on their candidates to be able to mobilize the financial resources that is needed to contest an election. But I don't believe that that is also the only measure of a candidate worth the assault and their ability to lead a political party successfully, not to an election, but beyond an election, to be able to successfully govern the country. So I would be very hesitant to make a connection between, if you can't cough up the $4 million Ghana cedis development fee, then you have no business running in the party's primary. Then essentially, again, we are back to the point that I raised earlier on, that you reduce democratic politics and contestation in party competition to only those who have deep pockets. And that, I think, is very troubling.
I see, but I'm going to recall that point that Samuel Atacha made. So you understand the direction he's coming from as well. And then you clearly indicate that you disagree with him. But I'm sure that you will agree with those who also raise concern that this phenomenon of persons, the cost of contesting for presidential and parliamentary elections increasing continuously over the years in this country would create a fertile ground for criminals or persons involved in nefarious activities, illegal mining operators. As you indicated that Galamsey operators have been financing political party activities in this country. Dr. Sakwapong.
And in relation to that, so in July, CDD Ghana, we published a report on democracy capture in Africa, and we looked at 10 initial countries, including Ghana. And if you see what motivates those we call the perpetrators of capture, whether it is trying to seize control over a legislative process or trying to seize control over a policy-making institution, and why they want to do those things, you would notice that it is either for financial gain or to serve some narrow partisan parochial interest. Again, because there is also lack of transparency in how we track what kinds of monies is flowing into our politics from where, it becomes very difficult to hold people accountable, especially if you have a lot of what we call "quote unquote" dark money, because you don't know who is behind it, you don't know who wants it, and again, it should be of a concern, especially when we are also trying to fight corruption. One of the things that we have to pay attention to in our fight against corruption is campaign finance and political party financing in our democracy.
I see. And please hold on a bit for me, Dr. Sakwapon. Let me also acknowledge the presence of Professor Samuel Edujemfi. He is a political analyst and a lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And let's take a listen to Samuel Atachia make his point strongly to Beatrice Edu in that exclusive interview as to why he is of the view that if you can't raise 4 million cedis as the development contribution to the MPP as a flag bearer hopeful, then really, in his view, you're not worth it. Take a look.
Not like that. When you elector want to lead a party, your tentacles should be wide and deep. So therefore, your constituency, the people who believe in you, that you should be the flag bearer, if they can't give you $4 million, 4 million cedis, then don't start.
Are you not destroying Ghana's democracy through that?
But who tells you that you run such a program in which the party has to be resolved? Don't you think the party is trying to raise money that, oh, you say you want to lead a party, you must have a very large constituency. So therefore, those who believe in you, let everybody give you 5,000 Ghana cedis. Wouldn't it be more than the 4 million Ghana cedis people are talking about? But if you can't raise that money, how can you aid yourself?
The risk is that you're monetizing politics.
I don't believe so at all. If you are in a position, you raise money. So it's a sensible way to raise money. But if a man says he's credible and people should vote him as a flag bearer, and he can't raise 4 million Ghana cedis, that means it doesn't count. He's not even influential. Who is telling you that you are the one going to pay the money? So you have your whole army of followers and say, look, because you believe in me, can you dole me out 10,000? I can dole somebody out 10,000. And if everybody is stopping...
Cedis or dollars?
Cedis. If everybody is stopping the money, what is 4 million Ghana cedis? You see, it's a self-indicting when you say you can't raise 4 million Ghana cedis, but I want to be the flag bearer of MPP.
Do I hear you say indirectly that you don't see absolutely anything wrong with whatever is happening in the party?
No, it's normal. I've told you, today, if there is even a seat of a chief anywhere in the world, the royals will fight for position. But let me guess what happened. Immediately they bring the flag bearer, everybody now sees that this is the arrowhead of the war. Everybody will come around him. He unites them, and there's a united front. You think it's very cool in NDC. See if there is no head of NDC and the kind of internecine warfare you will see that will blow your mind. Even as we're talking now, people are angling that President Mahama should be out of the way, so they come.
Who told you that?
I know that because I'm a politician. I know the heartbeat of men. They are always hungry for power. You'll find it anywhere in the world. People should not specialize the troubles of MPP. What is in NDC might be worse if Mahama is not there.
What is in NDC might be worse if Mahama is not there.
Well, so that's the position of Samuel Atacha there in that exclusive interview with Beatrice Edu. Professor Edujemfi, that's what I'll bring you in. He says, look, it is self-indicting, in his view, to say that you want to lead a party like the MPP and you can't mobilize 4 million cedis to contribute to the development of the party. You had some flag bearer hopefuls, Kennedy Japan, Brian Champong, all raising concerns, and Kobne J. Japan, all raising questions about this development fee, 4 million cedis. He says, look, if you can't do it, you're not worth it. Don't even start. Don't even dream of it. Prof.
Yes, an interesting scenario. I mean, if you look at it, it's been an age-old argument, and that's the first point you always want to reflect on. the question about resource mobilization. When the party needs money, in many terms or fronts, they try to rely on resource mobilization, and part of it is where candidates, not only flag bearers, but those who want to contest for other positions, are made to make some contribution toward the party. It's also the argument that it's also made from time to time that at least if you are a candidate, then you must demonstrate leadership by raising funds to support your contest or campaign. And so your ability to raise such funds also shows that you are able to demonstrate your leadership skills. So at least they are looking at around $326,000. And so it's become fashionable, it's become trendier to be that individual who is able to raise funds, resources to support your campaign to an extent that it can also affect even the political party which you are going to lead. So it seems to have come to stay. I think what is critical is whether that is strictly the case, that your ability to do a fundraiser or to mobilize some amount of money shows that you are able to lead a country. Maybe we need to probe and ask more questions about whether any individual who is able to raise funds to pay something has capacity to lead a state. And I think that's a critical question we need to reflect on. But I do not also take away from Mr. Thatcher the argument that, resource mobilization and mobilization of funds in itself suggests that you have some leadership skills or ability to bring people together or to galvanize some form of support. Should it also be the case that an individual who is not able to raise such money within a short time be precluded from that? So I ran through my thoughts. The first one is the resource mobilization, which is in tandem with teasing out the individual's ability to lead, as put out by lawyer Thatcher. But there's also the possible agenda to displace or remove potential flag bearers from the race, especially those individuals who do not have such money sitting in their accounts or are unable to mobilize those funds within the short moment. Is it good? Is it right for the political parties and here the NPP to be flaunting money like that, about $330,000 per individual or per head? Is it the right thing to do? The broader debate also is that democracy is very expensive. Democracy is very expensive. In fact, it takes energy, it takes time, it takes financial resource. And in fact, the pressure that comes with it even has the tendency or the proclivity to lead to the demise of another. And this is not to espouse an argument that lies within the domain of violence, but I'm talking about the strength that comes with politics, the strain that comes with politics, right? To a large extent, you need a lot of brain, but to some extent, you require some brawn to carry you through. And so it's expensive fiscally or financially. It is expensive fiscally or in a wrong way. It is expensive in terms of psychological well-being or welfare. And in that regard, democracy is very expensive. But should we, as we discuss this, are we able to say that a party also which is in opposition has money like that, individuals holding on to money like this?
And you see, that's the question. That's the question. And then because you asked two questions as to how this, in terms of the optics, will impact on the party, and the fact that whether the ability to mobilize resources should be a major determinant or quality for who should lead a party or a country. Samuel Atachia thinks that that is a major one for him. And he's argued his point forcefully. I mean, from where you sit, you say it could be other means of another tactic of knocking some people out of the race if they can't raise this amount of money. How does that impact on the political party the NPP has in question right now, specific to this particular issue?
So if you have 4 million Ghana cedis per head, what should such individuals be using those monies for? Which account does it go into? How does it? So we need to even begin to ask ourselves the question about political party finance. Because if these party candidates are going to raise funds, and those who are going to give them those money would want to plow back profit, they become the puppet masters during the day of victory. And when the party is forming a government, they control the government. You have heard about the story of how sometimes drug money filters into the system. You know about political party financing and those questions. How people with ill motives are able to hijack political parties because they pump money into the system, and then it becomes a payback time. He who pays the piper causes the tune. Is that not the point? And so once political party financing is overlooked by Ghanaians, and we think that it is only a question about resource mobilization and demonstrating an individual's wit and capacity to be able to raise funds, there are critical questions about corruption that is likely to rear its ugly head. It's also able to cause strange people, cartels, dangerous people to begin to serve as puppet masters within our body politic. People with ill motives to begin to gain control over our body politic. And it is important that we have this discussion. So it is not about just financing the party from within. The monies that come about, where are they coming from? Are we able to properly hold such individuals to account for where they are getting these monies from? Remember recently, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said he's not rich, right? How is he going to raise this money? In my view, unless you are a rich man, I do not think that you are able to raise $326,000. A teacher like me, who has teacher friends, may not be able to raise this money. So potentially and possibly, he's a rich man. Was he lying to Ghanaians? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So fundamentally, the party itself and some of the party chief actors have been throwing dust into the public's eye.
Okay.
And it's quite disturbing, because if you have 4 million Ghana cedis sitting there, and you are able to pay that to go and contest, if it is your personal money, it means you are rich, you are enterprising, you are resourceful, you have done so well with your life, so many things will come up. However, if you are raising these monies from ordinary citizens or from other businessmen who have profit motive,
right,
or such individuals who sit beyond the shores of this country, either in the Americas or in Arabia or in Asia.
That also then poses a challenge in itself as well, is it not? And that's where really the concern is. And Dr. Osai-Kwapon has also been talking about how to deal with this matter. You've diagnosed it quite clearly. We'll see how the coming days will be on this particular issue regarding both intra-party politics and the financing of it. That Samuel Atachia argues, and the position that you take as well. Professor Samuel Adudjefi, thank you so much for joining us. He is a senior lecturer at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, political analyst. Also to you, Dr. John Osai-Kwapon, a senior fellow, Democracy and Development at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, the Ghana Gold Board, in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service, they have declared 4 individuals wanted for alleged involvement in gold smuggling and illegal gold trading. That is the information that earlier today the CEO of Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, put out earlier today. The police and the Ghana Gold Board have launched a manhunt for 4 individuals for, in fact, their involvement in illegal gold smuggling activities. Well, the suspects have been named. We'll tell you about them shortly, but this is what Sami Jemfi said earlier today at the press briefing. Take a look.
The 26th of August, 2025, we got intel through one of our hotlines from a patriotic citizen of the land to the effect that some foreigners were in cahoots with certain licensed traders of the Gold Board. What they were doing basically is that they give funds to these licensed traders of the Gold Board for the purpose of buying gold for and on their behalf, which gold they pick up from Takwa through various Ghanaian couriers. The entity called NK Benak Enterprise and its sole proprietor Bernard Nkrumah have been closed down by the Gold Board. They no longer have any lawful authorization to trade in gold, as their license has been suspended forthwith. And so if you have any business whatsoever to do with them relative to gold trading, you must cease from that forthwith. All these persons I've mentioned, the 3 suspects already in custody and the 4 persons at large, have all been charged for dealing in gold without authorization, for facilitating gold smuggling, for smuggling gold, for transporting gold without authorization, and for attempting to smuggle gold.
Well, that's Sami Jemfi, is the CEO of the Ghana Gold Board there. Now, these are the 4 individuals who are on the run, declared wanted. The first, Mohammed Nandoli Rafiq, alias Salam, aged late 40s, is an Indian by nationality, and the place of birth unknown, language spoken English, and his location is believed to be in Dubai. Now, according to the Gold Board's information, the suspect is wanted for alleged offenses including gold smuggling and illegal gold trading, and they talk about what as well over the period this person has been involved in. And also the next, we have Abdul Karim, late 30s. He's a Ghanaian. He's also on the run. He speaks Hausa and English, believed to be hiding in Ashaiman, Amrahia, and the northern part of Ghana, specifically or especially Tamale. That's what the notice puts out. One, there's also Sadiq Abukari as well. He is also Ghanaian, Hausa, English, and believed to be hiding in these same areas, Ashiaman, Amrahia, northern part of Ghana. And then also, so these are the 4 individuals that were put out by Gold Board earlier today as well. So the individuals are supposed to put out, that's Mohammed Afsal Putanat, and you have Mohammed Nandoli Rafiq, and then also Sadiq Abukari, then Abdul Karim as well, these 4 individuals. Now, the bounty on their heads is 1 million Ghana cedis. 1 million Ghana cedis. And Richard Kumado is a security analyst, is joining us on Zoom right now. Mr. Kumado, thank you for joining us. First of all, I want to find out from you if this bounty is one that is going to do the trick for this, as in the Gold Board and the Ghana Police Service's quest to clamp down on these individuals.
Have done some level of assessment and have come to the conclusion that they want to place 1 million booty on their head. Then some will argue that is too small, considering the national security interest of what Gold Board does in this country, particularly in the area of economic development and mining and exportation and purchasing of gold. To that regard, I'm so happy that on this particular occasion, I'm hearing that the Good Board is working closely with all the security agencies, particularly the police, and they are also working with all the task force in the field, particularly with the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force. It means that they have a lot of investigative resources at their disposal. They also have a lot of intelligence gathering assets at their disposal, and that may explain why they put the 1 million booty on their heads. Let's see the way it plays out. But subsequently, if it becomes very difficult to locate who they are, I'm sure they will make amends and make sure that they speed up location of these people and get them apprehended.
Strategy that they are taking now, and as it were, putting this amount of money. In fact, this is the highest we've seen in the not too distant past, isn't it? 1 million cedis.
Definitely, yes. That is what I said, that Gold Board is a sensitive organization. And if you look at their role in the national security interest, particularly when it comes to economic development, and particularly also in the area of gold and mining of gold and purchase of gold and exports of the same, they want to raise the bar. And it's also good they are sending the signal early that they are the registered organization or agency when it comes to gold and exportation of gold, so that people will wake up to their responsibility, that if you flout the law, you have the whole of the national security agencies coming after you, and you also have all the National Security Council institutions coming after you. And that makes it very difficult for people to hide. And that may give them some level of leverage. What we need to do is to encourage them to work effectively with the law enforcement agencies, particularly the frontliners, who will help them with intelligence gathering and prosecution in that regard.
Looking at the locations of these individuals, 4 of them as we put out, and the fact that some of them could be possibly out of the country as well. I mean, how does that weave into the dynamics of the citizens, as in the public, helping the Gold Board in this regard?
Okay, so definitely you have embassies across the whole world. At your embassies, you have people with intelligence background. You have people who does corporate due diligence. You have people who are well vested with investigations, and they may help with that regard. Just like we are signing some level of agreement with some counterparts out of the country, and you will want your embassy staff with the requisite expertise to do the background checks, or what we call the corporate due diligence. I'm tempted to believe that they will use those guys very much. But back in intelligence gathering or travel rigs, we could track where they are any day, anywhere in the world. And we may also use some other partners and other sources within the security intelligence arena, not just in Ghana, but across the globe, with a high level profiling on their head. They won't be able to fish them out, just that it may come at a cost. And I want to believe that Gold Board is aware of all this and their determinations when it comes to making resources available for that. But when it comes to the local ones, you have enough intelligence officers on the ground. The BNI will play a key role. The CID will play a key role. And all other persons who have the capacity to help Gold Board, they may play a role. It may also come at a cost, but it may not be as expensive as tracking somebody abroad. Collectively, once we help ourselves, it makes life easier for our national institutions, and I'm happy to hear they are working with others involved.
I do appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Richard Kumado is a security analyst. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And we're live as well on 3FM 92.7, as always, probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray, and Coil Kum Tum Tum Precon. We're back shortly after this quick break here on Ghana Tonight. We're still continuing a conversation. This time around, we're knocking on the doors of the Auditor General, and what the president has also been talking about in measures put in place to, as it were, recover monies that have been diverted, public funds diverted to private use. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Well, welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, the Office of the Auditor General has recovered 10 million from individuals, and that's coming up next, who were paid salaries they were not entitled to. That is information. In fact, he said this to the graphic earlier today. Millions, you understand, individuals who were paid these salaries they were not entitled to, remitting the funds into the consolidated fund at the Bank of Ghana. From what we do know, the recoveries made voluntarily by those implicated come amid the ongoing special audit into unearned salaries, a practice that has long drained the public resources. So the Auditor General, Johnson Kwamwa Esiedu, spoke to the Daily Graph earlier today that the funds were recovered within the past 2 months. 2 months as the audit gained momentum. Within 2 months, they've been able to recover 10 million cedis from persons who were taking salaries that they were not entitled to or that they do not deserve. And this is it. And this audit is covering between 2023 and April 2025. So far, the audit shows that 53,311 government workers who had officially left the public service remained on the public payroll, resulting in over 150 million cedis paid in unearned salaries. Think about it. 53,311 government workers. They've left the public service, but then their names are still on the payroll. They are receiving salaries. Out of the 53,311 separated staff, 2,446 continued receiving salaries after their exit dates. These unearned salaries, totaling 150.36 million Ghana cedis, are now subject to recovery, with the Auditor General urging the MMDAs to retrieve the funds promptly. So these persons are still receiving salaries because their exit was not communicated to the Controller and Accountant General, so kept paying them money. So the fundamental question is, who was taking the money? Because these people are off the public payroll. That's why anti-corruption crusaders are not very excited about just their recoveries or these people voluntarily returning the money. If you follow the money, follow the paper trail. This is public payroll, so obviously the payment would have followed a particular structure. If you follow the money, we will find who is responsible for doing this, engaging in these acts of corruption to serve as some deterrent, punish them. Well, the Auditor General says they are collaborating with the Ministry of Finance and the CID to investigate and prosecute public officials who authorized and validated these fraudulent payments. And this comes on the back of the President, John Dramani Mahama's indication he gave that there are some special courts going to be set up to deal with the infractions that the Auditor General captures every year in his report. Take a look.
For anti-corruption, I actually said we'll speak with the Chief Justice and see if they can create special courts for prosecuting people who are flagged in the Auditor General's report. And so that is something the Attorney General is pursuing, because every year we see Auditor General's report, it goes before the Public Accounts Commission, they say this person diverted this person misappropriated this and that, and yet no action is taken. And so Ghanaians have been saying, so what's the use of the Auditor General's report? And so we're asking the Chief Justice, can you create special courts which can fast-track action on the Auditor General's report? So people who are determined to be criminally liable after the Public Accounts Committee has sat can be put before those courts so that they are sanctioned, to create a deterrent so that other people do not do the same thing that they have done.
President John Dramani Mahama there. But before we go, there's an update we're getting right now. The scores earlier today, scores of students of the Tamale Technical University sustained various degrees of injury after the students clashed with police personnel during a protest against the management of the school over what they describe as neglect, misappropriation, mismanagement of the school's funds, and unjustified fee increment. Now, the students blocked all entry points of the school and also burnt lorry tires at the administration to register their displeasure. And that's what you're seeing on the screen. This is what happened earlier today. And we're going to show you videos of the students who sustained injuries as a result of this protest earlier today. And my colleague, Christopher Marco, was there, captured it all for us on video. And these police personnel will see there on campus earlier today. It's Christopher Marco, is our Northern and Savannah regional correspondent, joining me on the telephone right now. Chris, what's the update to this? What's the situation on campus right now?
Well, I can confirm to you that the situation has been brought under control. The police were able to disperse the crowd. Leadership of the students supported the police in this drive, and as we speak, some level of calm has been restored, but the students are bent on ensuring that management used or channeled their funds or school fees into the purposes for which the monies are being collected.
And how about the injured students? And we're going to put that video on the screen right now. How are they doing, and where were they taking for medical attention, if you do know?
Yes, so they were hit by rubber bullets that were fired by the police who were on campus to restore calm and order. And as we speak, they have all been treated and discharged, even with those who have sustained serious degrees of injuries. They have also been discharged. Fortunately for them, the school has a hospital, and so they were all taken to the school's hospital where they were appropriately taken care of and discharged. So as we speak, they are all in their hostels as of now. But one thing is that, after, like I mentioned, the students have emphasized that they will not take it any longer. School management must ensure that the money every person taken from them must be accounted for, and they are calling on the education minister to institute a forensic audit on the school.
I see. But how about the campus? Any idea of whether security personnel are still on campus as we speak?
Yes, I saw some of them around 3 p.m. Just moving around the school campus. The students have indicated that they don't want to see any security person on campus because the matter is between the students and the management. All they are asking for is that they want management to tell them what they've been using their school fees for. Apart from that, they have never intended to hold any rioting demonstration. All they have told management they wanted to do was a peaceful demonstration, and exactly what they did today, according to them.
Chris, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much. Christopher Marco is our Northern and Savannah regional correspondent. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do appreciate your company. Join us same time tomorrow for another conversation. My name is Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.